Yes, we can see your screen.
All right, thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Good afternoon, or good evening. I don't know where I want to go back to daytime. Yes, good evening to you, everyone, and thank you once again for joining us this evening. So yesterday we were able to follow through some lab or some hands-on to see how certain things work, like permissions for shared mailboxes, how to create mailboxes either from GUI of using PowerShell. We also took a look at creating resource mailboxes, and then scheduling meeting to test some of those resource mailboxes, right? And we look at archiving, yes, archiving to help maintain and manage our mailbox storage and sizes. And actually, we couldn't finish that yesterday. We have a few more hands-on to complete from that particular module. However, what I'm going to be doing is to share like I said, we're going to collate all the labs that we have used from day two, or no, is that day two? Yes, from these past topics that we have done and the lab, we're going to share it with you, collate it and share with you so that you can go try them out in your own environment as well. So that we do not take maybe much time with regards to the lab, I still have some topic to cover, right? And we're going to quickly look at those this evening. So let me just project or share my slides. Okay. So today we are looking at Mayflow. Mayflow in Exchange Online, and then we're looking at security as well. Now, this topic is a critical aspect of Exchange Online. Without Mayflow, actually, emails cannot go anywhere. It can't come in or go out. And there are a lot of services that make up, the Mayflow, right? So we're going to see a few of that. And if, like I said yesterday, if we happen to have 300 level class, then we'll treat some more advanced topics in Exchange Online, right? So in the agenda today, we'll look briefly at Mayflow and message security, and we will talk about, we'll try give you a few pictures to help you understand how the mail go in and come out from Exchange Online, and the purpose or usefulness of transport rule, Mayflow rule, they are called transport rule, right? And then we will also explore setting up connectors, even though we may not be able to completely test the connector because we do not have an environment that allow us to test it properly, but we'll see how it's being configured. And finally, we'll look at email encryption in Exchange Online. Everything today is all about security. Yes, yes, please. I have some people raising their hand.
So sorry, that was a mistake.
Okay, okay. All right, thank you. So, moving on. Moving on. Yes, let's look at Mayflow, right? So, after this particular module, what we are going to be learning is to have an understanding or fundamental understanding of how email flow in and out of Office 365 or Microsoft 365. Then, apart from for the fact that the email flow, there are some security settings or features or components that are sitting in between the emails, right? The email going in and out of the organization. I've already talked about the fact that we are going to look at that. So at the end, you should be able to at least do certain configuration, like understand how email flow from Exchange Online Protection, for instance, or how to apply uh, um, encryption to emails that go out maybe to certain organization or to anybody on the internet, and as well as understanding when to use Mayflow rule and when not to use Mayflow rule. If time permits, in addition to that, I would love to show you something from the last lab, which is message forwarding, right? How you can forward email. Like, because of somebody asked a question yesterday, that could which that forwarding email could also be a solution to that particular question. And then finally, like I said, we are going to share the lab activity or lab guide with you guys as always. Okay, so first we are going to look at how email flows in and out of Exchange Online, and just using this simple slide, right? There are four components when it comes to email that flows. There are other components in between. So not strictly this four, right? We have the sender. You have the sender who is sending the email either from the internet or from your partner organization or from your Exchange Online itself, either going in or out of your organization. Then you have the Exchange Online itself, which is the server that is responsible for receiving and sending email. So now, when a user sends an email, it's when a user sends an email, the email is sent and delivered, right, to the Exchange server. That's Exchange Online. There are servers behind that we do not have access to, right? They just gave us an interface for us to be able to manage our mailboxes and manage the settings as it concerns our organization. Then, once Exchange Online received this email, it checks through its transport rule and confirm if there are rules that is saying, if there are actions that need to be taken based on the email that comes. So if there are rules that matches, right, the particular email that come in, it takes the action that is associated with that rule. Then we have the recipient. Finally, after the rules are being processed, the email gets delivered in the mailbox of the user, and that is the final destination of the mail within the journey, right? Now, for that email to get delivered, we have, where's my slide? Not, it's changing from your end. It's not changing from here. Okay, anyway. So done. Sorry, please. I need to quickly, something is happening. To escape. Escape. Okay. Okay, so now moving on to mail flow. There are two directions email can flow from. We have what we call the inbound mail flow and we have the outbound mail flow. Now, inbound mail flow have to do with your users sending email from their own, from Exchange Online. So you have, let's take a little bit of this highlighter open, this pen. Okay, so let's say we have Exchange Online here. That's EXO. That's Exchange Online. That's what it means. And you have your users here. They are trying to send an email, right? Email. I try to get the drawing. Okay, so they are trying to send an email and they want to send the email to a user somewhere, maybe Google. Let's say Google. Google, see double G, double zero, Google or Gmail. So let's say you send email to Gmail. Gmail. Okay, so this email, the direction is this. Coming from your Exchange Online, that's M365 environment. It's coming from here and it's going this way. This is called outbound. That's outbound. Now, when Gmail replies the mail, right? It replies the email and send it back to the user in our Office 365. So here it is called inbound. Yes. So going from Gmail to Exchange Online is called inbound. It's on the inbound direction. The server is receiving it, so it means the email is coming into it. Okay. And going from Office 365 or Microsoft 365 to Gmail, it is called outbound. The email is leaving Exchange Online to another messaging server, right? So that's the difference between the two mail flow types that we have in Exchange Online. Email flow, that's inbound mail flow, refers to email that are leaving your organization and going to external sources, right? Sorry, email, sorry, not inbound. Inbound is that are coming in, received, coming into your organization from external source, right? And you have outbound. Like I said again, outbound mails are mails that are leaving. They leave sent from your user and they are going to recipients that are not within your organization. So it can be anybody on the internet or it can be your business partner. Okay. So look at this diagram. I'm hoping it's clear enough from your side. I couldn't get something that can give you a more perfect picture. Okay. The standard thing is I sit on the internet, I log into my Gmail, for instance, and I send an email to a user at Contoso, right? A user at Contoso. This user is currently in Microsoft 365. Okay. It looks so simple. Looks so simple, no issue, right? But like we said, between this location, we have to change the color of this thing. I think blue should do the trick. Oh, great. Yes, between this location, that's here and here, there are things that are happening here. There are a lot that is happening in between this area. Okay. So very quickly. Now, this is what is happening in reality. In reality, a user sits on the internet and sends an email to Exchange Online, right? Now, Exchange Online received the email and send the email to services like EOP. Yeah, you have EOP. That's your Exchange Online Protection, EOP. So EOP here, what it's going to do is first to check it for spam. There's any spam, right? Then after checking for spam, you might check for data loss prevention. Okay, maybe you're supposed to, you might not even check for this immediately. It's emails that are really going out that does this, right? Now, here you have compliance. So here you might check, is there any rule? Maybe like a forwarding rule. If you have created a forwarding rule that says when a mail come in for a particular email address, that email should be forwarded to another email address. So it will check. Once you check and there is no issue, right? The next thing it's going to do is to come back to Exchange Online and drop the email in the inbox of the user. There can be situation where we said email can come from the internet. The other thing is you might have hybrid running in your environment. You might have hybrid. That means initially you have your Exchange server running in your local data center, EXO servers, that's SVR, running in your local data center on-prem. Maybe you are hosting it wherever, whether at your head office premises or somewhere else, right? That's where it's running. And you have a few users that are sitting on this server. You have a few users here, and you need some users are also sitting right here. Now, you need to send email back and forth from here. In that case also, we will get to connector. There is a special mail flow that is responsible for this flow here. Likewise, this location. You might have a business partner that you need to securely transmit email to from your Microsoft 365 environment, right? So there's also a special mail flow setting that is happening here, different from that of the internet. Now, naturally or by default, when a customer subscribe to Office 365 services or Exchange Online service, by default, they can send email in and out, may flow seamlessly without you needing to do anything. The only time you start considering doing other things are when you have Exchange on-prem, or you have a partner organization you need to send email to, or you even have your, maybe Google, you want to co-locate with Google or coexist for a period of time, right? Those are special cases that will warrant advanced configuration for Mayflow, right? Now, bringing another slide up. This is more advanced. Now, this internet user is still here, sitting behind the internet and sent mail to your user. In this case, like I said, by default, internet user can send mail to your user and your users can send mail to the internet. By default, in this case, you do not need connectors. No connector is required. To send email from M365 to internet, no connector is required. Okay? Remember, you have these two users that are sitting right in M365. And each of them, anytime they need to send mail to a user that is sitting on the internet, like Gmail and the rest, they don't need a special configuration, and vice versa. Now, coming to this side, we have an on-prem server, Exchange organization that is sitting right here. We have a few users here, and a few users are also in the cloud. So that means there is even something here. There's a domain. A domain is existing in two places. If you notice, domain is existing in two places, Contoso and here Contoso. So that's to tell you that there are two Exchange Online organizations that are connecting to each other in one way or the other. Might be via hybrid. Okay. Now, for users that are Contoso users that are on-prem to be able to send email to Contoso users that are in the cloud or Fabricant user, there is a connector that needs to be created. And going out here, you need to create inbound here on this guy. You will create outbound connector to go out from here, from this direction is outbound that will exist on this guy outbound connector that will exist on this guy. Now, when you come to this from Office 365, the connector that will receive the email from here, when the email come from on-prem to Office 365, the connector that is responsible to receive email here is called inbound connector because it is coming in. Okay? Likewise, for users, Fabricam or Contoso to be able to send email to the user one that is here, this user also needs a connector. The connector responsible from here is the outbound connector because it's sending the mail out to the on-prem Exchange server. While the one that will receive the email here is the inbound connector. So the connectors are working in the opposite way. If I use outbound to send to you or to the on-prem will receive it with inbound. Then on-prem will use his own outbound to send to Office 365 or Microsoft 365, and Microsoft 365, which is Exchange Online, will receive it with his own inbound connector. So always remember that rule. Okay. Now here you have a third party who is the partner organization. What's going on? It's not okay. The partner organization is here, and we also need to be able to send email. We want to be able to send email securely from and to the partner organization, right? So here, different from these connectors that we are using to send to on-prem, we have to create a separate connectors that will also be responsible for these guys. Okay, so anytime email comes in, going back to the other, anytime email comes in to Exchange Online, you look at it, it's going to go to EOP, then check the connectors that I have there based on which user, the email address of the user. Is the user in the cloud, or is he on-prem, or is he a partner organization? Is going to check accordingly, and it will use the corresponding connectors to send email to the respective destination. Okay, now again, we said Exchange Online is the anti-spam, anti-malware, anti-filtering service in Microsoft 365. Once Exchange Online receives the email, it sends it to EOP. EOP filter it for spam. If you find spam there, depending on your configuration. Now, when it comes to spam, you have what we call probable spam. That's probable. I don't know if I think my writing is might be a bit. So you have what we call probable spam. Probable spam. And there is probable and there is definite. Definite means it is sure. So in that case, there is what they call confidence level, right? Definite. For this, for the EOP to know exactly what to do, he had to consider what they call confidence level. Right? This confidence level can be, it can range from 1 to, I can't remember whether it's 7, right? It ranges like that. Now, depending on where it is, if the confidence level is very low, it's going to categorize it. It might categorize it as probable spam. Now, what should it do when, definite rather. What should it do when it is definite spam? It blocks it. It blocks the email. Why when it is probable, it might send it to the user's inbox or quarantine or junk folder of the user. So you can actually configure rules that tells how spam emails are being treated in Exchange Online. So you can tell Exchange Online to say, or EOP to say, if an email is categorized as spam, definite spam, certain email block, or you want to block email from countries that you don't do business with. If you don't do anything with China, you want to block email from China. If you don't do anything with Russia, you want to block email from Russia, right? So in that case, you can create a rule, that's anti-spam rule, that tells what to do. Now, in other cases, you might want to say, oh, any email that is categorized as spam, send it to quarantine. But how will the user now know that certain emails are hosted or have been sent to quarantine, and some of those emails might be legitimate? So you can also configure a setting that allows the user to go to a quarantine page and go and retrieve or review the emails that are there and release the ones that are true, not junk or not spam. They will release it to their inbox. So that's part of Exchange Online's work. It helps to filter spam and prevent unwanted emails from getting to the users, right? It also helps to protect from malware. Certain time or sometimes email or malwares can be wrapped in an email that is coming into an organization. And if a user is not security conscious, what they do is they just click the email and the virus or the malware will just start replicating and start doing stuff right from the user's inbox. Okay, so then it also prevents phishing. And we all know, I believe we should know what we mean by phishing. Phishing is a kind of spam or a security threat that allows where attackers use emails to send information to you. And the phishing there is they will have a bit of your information. So they can tell you, maybe they know that you are expecting email from, you're expecting email or you're celebrating your birthday. And they can send you an email and say, oh, happy birthday. In order to celebrate your birthday, we would like you to log into this environment, log into this platform using this URL. Once you click that link, because you too want to get a birthday gift, right? You click it, and as you click it, it asks you to sign in with your Office 365 account. You go ahead and sign in. As you are doing all of that, it's actually collecting your data and your information. And from there, it can continue, spamming you or phishing. The phishing can continue. So that's why sometimes or most time they said when you are creating things like password, don't use your birthday or your children's birthday and all of that, things that people can easily get, or things that you already put right there on social media like Facebook and the rest. So people have already seen what you put there. It's not hidden to anybody, and they can use that to actually phish you. And if you are not careful, before victim, oh, sorry, you might be sorry at the end of the day. So it's also a way for us to be careful when we are receiving email or reading or opening email. Now, just this, I think this give it a little bit of clarity when it comes to how the email flow from Office 365, from internet to Office 365 to Exchange Online to users inbox, right? So right from here, if you look, you see an email coming from the internet. And when it gets here, email is routed to the data center based on the MX record. Now, MX record is called mail exchanger, mail exchange or mail exchanger. That's MX record. And is usually MX record is responsible for delivering email to your organization. So it can be in this format. We can say for your domain, for instance, I have chavi.com.ng. I will say, so reach this server, send the email. The server responsible for this domain to receive email is Outlook dot protection dot office, right, .com. We can say that is the server, and this server here is Exchange Online, but not Exchange Online. If you notice, protection, so it's Exchange Online protection, right? So we are telling our hosts, our DNS host, to say, if you need to reach this server to exchange email, send it. You can reach this domain, rather. If you need to reach this domain to exchange email, you can reach us via this server address, right? That is MX record. Now, once you are using MX record, the user on the internet does not know your MX record. He only know your domain, and he send your email to the internet. The internet is asking, or his own server that is sending, goes to the internet and start asking, who know chavis.com, and the DNS that is hosting record for chavis.com will respond that, oh yes, I do. This is the server. Then that exchange server take the route and goes to the server that they are pointed to go and deliver the message, right? Now, when it gets to Office 365, like I said, Exchange Online Protection receives the email. Now, when you receive the email, you check connection filter. It filters the email. If it has malware, you send it, or antivirus or virus or anything, send it straight. You can send it to junk. That's one way. Now, again, if you have malware, you can do this again. You can also check if there are rules that is saying, oh, if email contain malware, oh, you can send it to quarantine. If email is not does not contain malware, okay, content filter, content is clean, can send it to the user's mailbox. But if it is not clean, you send it again to Exchange Online. Now, what happens if the email happen to land in the user's inbox? Maybe land in the standard inbox, and that email is not clean. The user can also by themselves look at it and say, oh, this is spam email, and they can report using feedback. So once they report it, the email will automatically be moved to either quarantine, yes, or remove from the user's inbox, or move it to junk for the user. That's the way they may flow, right, in Exchange Online protection. Okay. So now let's quickly look at Mayflow rules. Mayflow rules, right? They are also called transport rules, and then can be used to identify and take action on messages that flow through your Microsoft 365 organization. Okay, these rules are similar to your inbox rule. You remember last week we talked a bit about, is it last week? Yes, we talked a bit about inbox rule and server rule, right? Where a user have created a rule that says when an email come into my inbox, send that copy of email, send it to this particular person, or save the send the email, that store that particular email in a particular folder instead of the standard inbox. Okay, so rules in Exchange Online is, function the same way, right? There can be rules that say emails will be blocked. Emails will be blocked maybe if it contains certain type of keywords, or if it contains certain attachment, or you want to block a particular user or a few users from internal inside the organization from sending email to external users or recipients if they do not have any business sending email out at all. You can create rule actually to help you do that. So next, we are going to look at a few use cases so that you can better understand at what point will you want to use mailbox rule, or sorry, transport rule, right? One first use case is data loss prevention. Data loss prevention, in this case, right, it can be a situation of you have a DLP policy that says when a non-financial person within the organization is sending email out, and the email contain an account number, a bank account number, for instance, or a social security number, is to block that email, or is to reject it, or is to send a message to the user and say you are not allowed to send this type of content out of the organization, right? So in that case, you are preventing critical information or sensitive information from getting to the wrong hand. It can also be within, let's say the case of HR. HR have their file and they are very, very confidential because of employee confidentiality. Okay. Now you see a member of HR trying to send an email out of the organization, or another user within the organization that is not a member of HR is trying to send email to maybe a colleague to help do something, and that email contain um uh uh social security number or account number. We can actually create rule, we can block it. That's one first use case, right? And it can also be for compliance purposes. The second use case, or another use case, is the case of email encryption. So let's take, for instance, of your partner organization. Let's say your company is dealing with which company is that can require such encryption. Okay, maybe you are dealing with the security department of the United States, and every email that goes in and out of your organization to the security department of United States must be encrypted, because you are dealing, is a matter of security that we are talking about here. So in that case, you want to configure a rule that says any email that is going to the US security department should always be encrypted, right? Now, you also have a case of disclaimer. Disclaimer allow you to inform a receiver of your email that if the email is not is not meant for them, or is not intended for them, and it gets into their inbox by mistake. So this is an example of how that can happen. My name is Titi. I have somebody in the organization that is bearing Oyimafu. Now I have another person, maybe in one of our customer organizations that also bear Oyimafu. Now I need to send a very sensitive email to Oyimafu, but the one I want to send to is the one within my own organization. And what happened? I just pick Oyimafu without looking at which Oyimafu I was sending email to. So in that case, I went to pick the one Oyimafu as which is our customer, okay? And they receive it. When they open the email, mere reading the email, it will tell them that their email is not for them. So what do you do in this case? Let me see if I can get a sample. Oh, sugar. Let me see if I can get a sample disclaimer. Okay. So this is one. Okay. So this is one. Going out. This is an email. Zoom in. Is it zoom in or zoom out? Zoom in. Okay. So this email is going out from my organization, or which organization is going out from. You can see the name here. Now, Oyimafu, the company, the customer that received the email, will see this message at the bottom of the email that says, this message contains confidential information and is intended only for the individual it is addressed, or the named individual in the address in the two, right? If you are not the named addressee, you should not disseminate, distribute, or copy the content of this email. Please notify the sender immediately by email if you have received the email by mistake, right? And delete this email from your system. So this is a way to tell a recipient of your email that if the email was sent to them in an error, it's not meant for them, they should take necessary action. They can inform you. It has happened where I have to call a customer that, sorry, I'm receiving this particular email. I think is a wrong Titi that you are trying to send the email to. The person wanted to send to a Titilayo in their company and is speaking Titilope because we happen to have exchanged email on a few times, right? So that is what exclaimer. In that case, you can use transport rule to create that, just to inform users of the action they can take if they are receiving email wrongly. Moving on, right? Let's now look at quickly connector in full this thing, right? Like I said earlier, connectors help you or help an organization to control the flow of email messages to and from your Microsoft 365 organization. But most organizations don't need to use connector. Like I said earlier, that if you, once you sign up for Microsoft 365 or for Exchange Online, by default, you do not need any connector. And I'm going to quickly go into our inbox, not inbox, the portal. Okay, so I have the portal here. I'm in Exchange Online. I'm just going to go to Mayflow. If you go to Mayflow, you see connectors here. If I click connectors, and you should notice that no connector exists here. So I gave the, okay, good. No connector exists here, yet we can send in mail in and out of this organization without connector, because we do not need at this time a special case that will warrant us to create one. Okay, so again, I've talked about the fact that if you have certain setup, like you need to be able to send email to specific organization, like a partner organization securely, or you want to encrypt the email, you can actually create a separate connector that does that, that is responsible for that. So it helps you to secure email communication between your Exchange Online and on-prem server or a third-party service. And also, you can set up connector to ensure data security with regards to encryption. Okay. So again, looking at this diagram, just like we have mail flow that have two directions, inbound and outbound, we also have connectors in two directions, inbound and outbound. If you recall the diagram we used earlier, it was telling us we were able to see different connectors created for on-prem Exchange server, this different connector created for partner server. Now, if it is internet email directly to Exchange Online, you do not need a special connector. And we could see that from my own tenant. I don't have any connector right now. Okay. Now, the other case where you will need connector is if you have Exchange on-prem or you have a partner somewhere, then you will need connector. An inbound connector, again, are used to control email and manage email coming into your organization, while outbound is used to manage email that is leaving, going out of your organization to anybody on the internet. All right. Now, are there a few use cases? Yeah, I think we have talked about them earlier. You want to encrypt email, especially for the defense department in the United States. Any email from your Exchange Online environment to the security defense department in the US, email must be encrypted. Or you have a requirement for a third-party security appliance. In this case, what do we mean? So there can be a need for an organization to say, oh, apart from Exchange Online protection, I want another layer of security for my email. Third-party email filtering. In that case, that's what you'll be using. You'll be using a third-party email filtering service. For instance, Sophos has online email anti-spam service that you can purchase and use with your Microsoft 365. And you also have Symantec also have. There are quite a lot of them that are out there that give you access, or you purchase the service and they allow you to use their platform to filter your email. In that case, if you have a third party service, there's you have it like this: internet user internet users to third party anti-spam filtering. Now, from there, so in this case, your MX record is not going to point directly to protection. Remember, we said for chavi.com.ng, we have said MX record is outlook.protection.office.com. But it's not going to be this. So MX record is going to point to third party. Say MX record will point to third party third-party SMTP address, SMTP server. Then so now we'll now tell the third-party SMTP server that once you finish scanning the email, deliver the email to Exchange Online at this MS record or at this server address. When Exchange Online receive it, EOP will still go ahead to still filter the email. So now this is the way. For this domain, send it to third-party SMTP server for anti-spam scanning. Anti-spam scanning server, send it to EOP for additional scanning. That's 2 layers of email security for your users. Now, let's talk about message encryption very quickly. Message encryption majorly, why will you want to encrypt message in Exchange Online? It's majorly to protect sensitive information. We talked about the fact that you are exchanging email between your organization and the Defense Department in the US or even Russia, right? You are exchanging email with those. Or you can even be with CBN right here in locally in our country here. And then you must send email to them in a secure manner. So in that case, you can encrypt the email that goes to them. Or it can be a requirement, a regulatory compliance that say, oh, because you deal with patient records for health, for instance, or law firm, because you deal with legal cases. Now, any email, as you send email to your customers, they must go in an encrypted format. So in this case, there's a regulation, there's a regulatory requirement from either GDPR or IPA that is influencing that. So those are 2 instances that you want to send email. Or it can also be a case of you are not managing, you are not a health organization, maybe you do a bit of financial and you are not legal, but you are a financial organization. So you still have to protect emails that go out. Or it can be a case of you want a way by which recipients seeing your email, the recipient seeing your email, recipient, if I know how to spell again, seeing your email to see a kind of, they will see an icon, be like a padlock or key icon, right? They can see something like this that goes straight, pardon my drawing, and you have it like a key, okay, on your on the email to show that it is secure. That's a form of encryption as well, to tell that you are the real person sending the email to that particular recipient. Those are instances where you have to encrypt email. Now, how do you encrypt the email? You can do it manually from Outlook. So users can manually encrypt their email using either OAuth, right, to ensure security, or admin can enforce the encryption from backend using either Mayflow rule or you use information protection. That's Microsoft information protection. You can use that to also enforce encryption for your users, right? So that is the end of our talking. And these are the areas or the things we are going to quickly look at and see how it's being done. One of the lab that we are going to look at is to view message trace. Message trace allow you to be able to troubleshoot and diagnose email from that goes in and out of your organization. So a user might call you and say, I've not been receiving email from so, and today's email is very important. And they said they have sent it like 10 times today. and they are yet to receive, he or she is yet to receive it. So you can actually go to message trace and go and trace whether the email, just ask them, okay, you can either search based on recipient, or you search for all email that come from the organization, or you search based on sender, right? And you are able to see whether email came in truly for that user from that email address or the company they are talking about. Then we look at creating transport rule. We'll look at how to configure connectors. Like I said, we will not be able to complete the connector configuration because we do not have another mail server somewhere that we want to use to test this. Okay. And finally, if we have more time, we'll look at encryption. However, if we do not have enough time, lab guide is going to be available for you to use to complete it at your own pace. So I'm just going to stop sharing right now. Okay, so now I'm currently here on my let's come up. Yes. So this is the first thing we want to do. This is our exchange online, right? The first thing we want to do is to trace email. Before we trace the email, I'm going to send email from, who is this? This is my personal email. I'm going to send email to, let's say Titi. Is it Titi or Titilope Bello? Hold on, no. Let me check. Okay, Titi. I'll use my custom domain. Let's try this over here. Okay, and I'm going to send email to a few people. titi@chavi.com.ng, and then we'll copy. Let's copy a few people. Can copy Emma. Emma dot what's Emma's name? Just to quickly. Emma Wilson. Yes, Emma.Wilson at chavi.com.ng. And we can also copy another person. See, Will Smith. Copy Will. Will Smith at chavi.com.ng. Okay, so test message trace. Inbound. Hello, Titi. How is the class going today? Okay, when I hit send, okay, I hit send, and who is this? This is Emma. Emma is supposed to receive a copy of that email, right? The message has come in for Emma. Okay, every other person I've received. This is Titi. The message has come in also for her. So now you can go to Exchange Online. Let's say the user did not know that the email has been moved. Okay, I want to try another one. I'm going to, this is Titi, right? I'm going to create a new subfolder. I'm going to call it Eno. Then I'm going to create a rule or create a rule. Let's see. Action rule. Let me see. Okay, just create a rule, create new rule. I want to test something. Create rule. Always move messages from Eno to this folder. Which folder? Folder in the more option. It's not showing me the extra folder I just created. A condition. Add a condition. The message is from, whenever the message is from this person, action is move the email to a folder. Okay, hold on. Let's refresh. It's not showing the folder I just created. That's this guy. Try again. Create a new rule. And I say more option and email from Eno. Move it to a folder, and the folder is still not here. So I'll just create a new folder. Move to a different folder. Okay. All right. Oh, sugar. Move to a different folder. Yeah, this is it. Move to a different folder. Then I can say run rule now. And the rule is being created and is on. Now, if we go into the inbox, you notice, though it's running the rule currently, but you notice that email has disappeared from here. That's because the rule we just created processed even on existing email that has been delivered before now, and the email has been moved into the new folder that we created. So now let me quickly send another email saying, okay, just go to send item, delete this one. Okay, I go to my send item, and this is the email, and I want to try to reply saying I am not sure that you received my first email. And I click send. I've sent the mail, and I'm expecting another email to drop in this folder. Okay. Okay. So now another email has dropped. And see, because it's conversational, it's sorting based on conversational, and that's why you can see the email here. So let's say TT has now been complaining that it's not getting email from Eno, and they have a very important meeting they are planning. Okay, so you can come to Exchange Online and go to Mayflow, then message trace. Go to message trace, and from message trace, we can start a trace. These are a few quick start traces that you can do. So we can start a trace. Let's see. Starting a trace, all sender, we want to do all sender, we can say BT1. The email address of that user is bt1@live.com. That is the sender. Okay. Then recipient, I want to see all email that is coming in for all recipients. It's all, everybody within this organization that has received email from BT. Then time zone, can set the time zone, although this is the time range that is already picking. or you can still set if you want to. However, it's not compulsory. I'll leave it. Now, the start date, this is 4th, but I'm only interested on today, right? So, or let's leave it as from yesterday to today, and this time, this is past 9 already, so we can say to 9:30, so that I can give us anything above 9. 9:30, that's 21. 20, sorry, 20 is 8 o'clock. Yes, it's 9. Then you can say start with, either I start with or end with or contain. You can filter that way. Or you can delivery status. If you want to pick whether you want to search for delivered only, but let's pick all, so that if you fail, it will still tell us we have all these different status to pick from. And you can go further if you know the email address of the sender, message ID rather, you can actually put it in here, but no need for that. We're just going to, there's something that is missing. Start with detailed search. I wanted the one that will just search without asking for any other thing. Contain text. Let's see. Let's see if we can see anything like that. Then summary reports. In the summary report, instant online enhanced. So, okay, although I don't think we need this. We don't need this. Let's just click search. Right. So I click search, and here are all the email that have come from that particular sender, delivered to different recipients within our organization. And these are the various messages. Now you can see it's delivered. Let's open one. This one came, that was for Titi. Titi is the one complaining. Let's see this. You can open it up. When you open it up, you will see more information about it. The subject, the subject can copy reports to text. You can prepare an email extended report regarding this particular email message trace, right? And look at it, the sender and the recipient. The server received it. It processed it by looking at the rules, if there's anything, and then it delivered after processing. Now, look at this. The message was delivered to the recipient mailbox. Because of an inbox rule, the recipient set up, the message was delivered to the following folder. And which folder? Eno. So this is how you can see and tell a user that, oh, that email has actually been delivered and it is in so folder. Please go and check it. You created the rule. Oh no, I didn't create rule. Check it, you created the rule, and they will see it. And here also more information that you can, see here. Message was delivered to a folder called Eno, and more information here, right? So this is the simple way to trace and confirm if emails are going in and out for a particular user or for the entire organization or for a particular sender or recipient, right? And you can see the different status that is there for this email. You have resolved, you have delivered. Resolved is this: when the email came in, it's going to first look for the email, the recipient, if he exists. If he's able to resolve the email or the domain, then it's going to deliver it. You have other ones. You might have failed status. You might have expanded status. When you see expanded, it means that email was sent to a group. And once you get to Exchange Online will expand it to check the detail of the individual recipient within that group, and it will now deliver to individual group members' inbox. So you can see different status here. So that's simply how to trace email and confirm delivery of messages. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do, excuse me, take water. Okay, the next thing we want to do in the lab is to create a transport rule to block a specific email. And where do we do that? Again, we come to Exchange Online and we can go to Mayflow. This collapse, we expand it, Mayflow, and we go to rules, right? Now, in rules, currently, there are no rules. It's empty. It is currently empty. So we can create a rule. You can create a rule, and the rule we want to create, we say we want to block a particular email from coming in if it contains a particular content. Let's say attachment for easy this thing. Now, you can see here, right here, quick rules that you can quickly apply. And you can create, if you click create new rule, that is, you are defining everything, every parameter from scratch, or you are creating a kind of custom rule. So if we pick, for instance, see this one that say message encryption and write protection to messages. And we can say apply disclaimer. Remember, we talked about disclaimer a while ago. And we can say restrict managers and their direct report, or restrict messages by sender or recipient. And when we pick this, if I pick any of them, let's pick send message to a moderator. Let's look at this. Send message to a moderator. I just put a name, email moderation. And it say apply this rule if the sender, maybe I want to know the emails, or I want somebody to approve email that is going out or coming in for a particular user. So I can do this, apply this rule if the recipient is, or if the sender, let's do the sender, we can quickly test that. If the sender is, then we'll select, is this person? If the sender is this person, and which person? Let's see, can you give us a list? Let's select somebody. Okay, if the sender is Bruce Willie, save. If the sender is this person, which person? Bruce Willie. Do the following. What should he do? Forward the message for approval. The notice is only one thing that is here because we pick a template. What we have picked to create this rule is a template. So we say forward the message for approval. Who is going to approve it? We need to select somebody that will approve it. Send to these people, because I didn't configure manager. It will have just gone to, I will have just selected this and it will forward it to the manager like that. But I didn't configure manager for this user. So I will just go to forward to these people. Who are we forwarding to? Let's forward it to Titi. Forward to Titi. And so we forward the message to Titi for approval. Except if the message, you can say except, so you're adding an exception. If the message is for maybe the CEO, except the message is for Emma, except the message is for select one. It's for this recipient, right? If it's the recipient, I think recipient Emma is CEO, I think. CEO. Sorry, Emma. I said the recipient is for Emma. That is when it should not redirect to Titi. But if it is for somebody else, it should always redirect to Titi. So I just click that and I said next. Okay. Now you have the run mode. You have option to either enforce, you have option to test the policy with tips, and you have option to test the policy without tips. If you enforce it, it's going to take effect immediately. If you are just testing it, it will still send the message without requesting approval, right? But you will see information. So we're just going to enforce it. And what is the severity level? It's very high. It's very high, or let's say medium. It's okay. You can set a date if you don't want it to take effect immediately. You can set the date you want it to start and the date you want the rule to be deactivated. So you can do that. Then I think we'll just leave this and say stop processing more rules if you fail, right? And we'll click next. And we'll click finish, right? Now we have created this rule. What we want to do is to just quickly test it. We said anytime Bruce is sending email, I think I have Bruce Willis' email somewhere here. Emma, Bruce Willis. Yes. Bruce Willis is here. So we are done. And what we are going to do quickly is to go to Bruce's email and send an email to send email to Will Smith. Will Smith, quarter one team bonding. Hi, Will. Can we plan a party? Okay. Forget what we write. Let's just send it. And we said send, right? I've sent the email out. Now we need to go into Titi's inbox. Titi should receive, if the rule is functioning, Titi should receive an email that is requesting approval. Why is she taking time? Has it gone? Let me be sure. Okay. Where is that? This is Emma. This is Will. Let me see. Oh, it's delivered. Why is that? Except it's taking some time, right? I think it might take some time for it to take effect. Oh, sorry. The rule is currently disabled, right? So we're going to enable it. Why is it disabled? And we're going to enable it. Enable it, that's all. You don't need to save, right? Still disabled. Where is the save button? Updating the rule, please wait. Okay, I didn't wait before. Okay, So now it's enabled. Was thinking, why didn't it take effect? So we'll do it again. Where is Bruce? Bruce will send the email. Did you get my mail? And I say send. Yeah, send. Where is that? If it's deliver again, then we need to wait for it to, yes, we need to wait for it to take effect. So we just leave it. But that is simply how to configure Mayflow rule, right? To take some action, either block or redirect. So you can also create a new one. It's almost the same. Create a new one, give it a name, apply the rule if a condition, this condition that I want to set meet. And once the condition meets, forward the email. We can say maybe block an attachment, block email attachment. If the sender is recipient this time is Titi, is Titi, is this person. Okay, we can say this. Sender is apply the rule if any attachment. If the sender wanted to pick, if the sender is, yes, from external, from outside, if the sender is from external or internal, right? From external or internal. And then we now have to select whether it's external or internal, which is sender is located where? Outside of our organization. And we click save here. It's not, the sender is not in our organization. And you can say this a looping condition now. This loop, right? The two condition, if I set it, if you use the and operator, it means the two condition must meet. But if you use the or operator, it means either of the conditions will meet. So in this case, we say the sender is outside of our organization and the recipient, and further specified, and the recipient is this person, right? Who is this recipient that we are talking about? Maybe Bruce Willie. Selected Bruce Willie again. And, or I don't know, maybe why it is, let me edit it. Instead of Bruce Willie, let's say it's Emma. Emma Wilson, right? And the recipient is Emma Wilson, who is in our organization. Do the following. So you can forward the message for approval, redirect the message to, okay, redirect the message to somebody. We want to redirect the message to this recipient. And this is also where you can say redirect the following message. You can say redirect the message to the following connector. The connector can now be maybe to an organization or a partner organization or anything. So, but to this recipient. And the recipient here is Titi is easy because Titi's inbox, forward the message, redirect the message to Titi, except we don't want to set any exception this time. Then we click next. We want to enforce the rule immediately, and I'm going to set the rule to I. And we stop processing rule if anything, but I'm not going to select that. I click next, I click finish. Okay. So once you finish also, we'll try to set it to on. From the look of things, after creating the rule, you have to turn it on. So that's that. Why that is okay, that's finished. Hopefully we don't have to wait forever before it applies. Let's see. So from here, you can see the information about the policy or the rule that we have created. Rule name is this, severity is I, sender address is matching header from outside, and rule description, apply the rule, is the sender Emma, is if the email rather is sent to Emma and is received from outside our organization. Set audit severity level to I and redirect it to Titi. Okay, so it has enabled and we'll close. We'll close it and we'll refresh. The email is enabled or the rule is enabled, and you can see priority here. Now, let's say I want, in what instance will you apply this priority, or will it matter? If you have created a rule here and you create another one and there's a form of conflict between the two of them, then you need to rearrange to know which one is going to take effect. Which one do you want to take effect? For you to do that, just go into the rule, change the edit rule setting and change the priority. Okay, so let's see. We said if email is coming from outside the organization to Emma, Emma dot Wilson. Attached is 50th birthday plan. Okay, then I want to attach something. Let me try to attach a file from my computer. I'm going to browse my computer. Let's go to downloads. Okay, pick this. Let me use something. So let's pick this guy. Okay, so we have this attachment to this email. I will click send. Hopefully it works as it's supposed to this time. So we have sent an email to Emma. So we expect, let's see if Emma gets it in his box. Emma Wilson. Birthday party. This is subject, same subject. Back. The email is yet to get here. So now let's see what happened. Oh, the message is here. And is it has redirected the email. We can see now the rule says redirect any email that contain attachment for Emma is to redirect you to Titi. So Emma did not see the email and we never know that they sent that email because the email has been redirected to Titi. Okay, so that completes the creation of rule either to block or to perform a particular task. So we didn't block, we just redirect. So the third on the list is to see how we configure connector. Again, we go to Exchange Online again. And in Exchange Online, we go to Mayflow and we click connectors. From connectors, like we saw the other time, there are no connectors here at all. Yeah, and we can send email in and out of the organization. So let's try to add one, even though we might not be able to test it. So let's even say we have an email. We have what's it called? We have let's say exclaimer. You have exclaimer signature, a cloud exclaimer signature. That's a very good use case. A cloud exclaimer signature, and you want to be able to send email. You want to attach. You want to be able to attach signature to every email that go out from your users, right? That's another scenario apart from the partner or your on-premise Exchange server. So now, the first thing you need to do is to select the connection from where? From Office 365, right? To our on-prem Exchange server. So in this case, I'm going to assume that we have, and we are going to say outbound, out, just to give it a name, out to on-prem, out to, although you can just out to on-prem Exchange server. What we want to do is to turn on this rule, right? We just turn it on. That's all we want to do there. And then use of the connector. Specify when you want to use this connector. Okay, specify when you want to use this connector. We say for email messages sent to all accepted domains in your organization. Once we finish this, I will show you accepted domains. Then, or we want this connector to be used only when I have a transport rule set up that redirects messages to this connector, or only when email messages are sent to this domain. So I can pick this and say, maybe we have Contoso is on-prem. You can say to Contoso, to this domain, right? You can say contoso.com, or we can say chavi.net, right? Chavi.net exists, but it's not on-prem. So then we click next. Sorry, you click add rather before you go, because you can add multiple email address. You can add multiple to it. Then we click next. And here now, say routing. How do you want to route the message? To route the message, I've specified the domain, but how do we get to the server that is hosting email for that domain? That is where, if you recall, when we talk about this MX record, for instance. So here, it could be an MX record, it could be a public IP address. So let me just say I have a server that is public, webmail, or I can say mail.chavi.net. This domain or this name exists on the internet and is mapped to a particular IP address. So this is my fully qualified domain name, or I can choose to use IP address, right? I can even add the two. I add this. If I know the IP address, I will add 41.157.86, dot 6 or dot 5. I will add it like that, and I will click next. Now here is going to ask. This is where you see when you want to for security, it's going to ask, how should Office 365 connect to your email server? We want to use TLS. It means it will always connect using certificate. We want to use TLS. That domain must be tied to a public certificate, a public accepted certificate, like certificate from either DigiSat or something trust, domain something trust or so. There are many out there, right? And this is the recommended best practice from Microsoft. Then we have other choices to make here. Connect only if the recipient email server certificate matches this criteria. One, we can say any digital certificate, including self-sign. So if we say self-sign, that means it might not be a publicly known certificate. Or it can be a certificate that is issued by a trusted certificate authority. If we select this, which is the recommended one, we select this, then we need to add the subject's name or subject alternative name of the domain. So our domain is this. Our domain name is chavi.net, right? We are buying then the server. To reach the email server for this domain, we need to reach mail.chavi.net, right? Now, for us to manage, for us to buy a domain, a certificate for this domain, our certificate will contain the common name of Chavi, common name for the certificate is equals chavi.net. Other names, which are referred to as subject alternative is more of alternative name. So I can either query it by the domain name, or I query it by its alternative name, which is now mail.chavi.net, right? So this is what is referred to as subject alternative name, right? Subject alternative name that contain anything else before the domain. Anything else before the domain is subject alternative name, right? So I will put that name. I'll put the name because this name is contained in the certificate, and it could be a wildcard certificate. So the name is contained in the certificate. I will just put this domain, this name like this, and I'll click next. So this is where we will now have issue, because we need to validate. For us to validate, we need to state a user. Let's say chavi.net exists on the on-prem environment. We will add. Then once we add, we need to say validate. Now the problem will be this: we won't be able to go further here, unfortunately. Once we click validate, let me just click so that you see it. It will try to look for the domain name on the internet. Then it will try to look for the server name that we talk about. And if it's successful, you will see success, and we can click next. So here, for the problem is it failed. And what is the reason? So you can easily troubleshoot even right from here. What is the connectivity to mail.chavi.net failed? That domain does not exist anywhere else on the internet. I don't have any domain on the internet like that, but I have chavi.net. Detail log is this 502.533 command not implemented. So you can do, if you want to research, all you have to do is just copy this information. This is to help you do your research. Copy this and paste it on your Google to search. Paste it on Google. And Google is going to tell you what it means, right? It gives the following error, blah, 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 blah. So you see a lot of information. That's how to troubleshoot what is going on from that particular angle, right? So, though I think we will be able to continue, but we cannot. So are you sure you want to continue without success validation? We just say, yes, proceed. And it will create the connector for us. But this connector will be useless right now because the domain, the information we use are not really, they are not real per se. So now you see, this is outbound, going out of my organization, going out of Office 365 to an on-prem server. You can do the same thing for inbound. So that's a second one, and it's on. We've put it on by default. And this is simply how to create connectors in Exchange Online. Time is already fast spent. My throat is dry, so I guess let me just see if we have questions. I'm going to share the lab guide with you guys so that you can use that to practice things on your own. So from the class, briefly explain how we invite external user or internal user for a meeting from resource mailbox. A call. So for you to invite, just like you saw yesterday, right? The way we did a workaround, we couldn't select the room, okay? What we were able to do is just to create, we just went straight and create a meeting invite. And just like you create a meeting invite, you go to calendar again, and you select, you want to create a meeting invite maybe for tomorrow, Monday. Okay, so I have Monday somewhere here. Monday is the one we did yesterday. This is, oh, this is even for tomorrow, not, okay. So we can create a meeting. What time is this? Maybe from this time, create a meeting invite. External invite or meeting, project meeting, project kickoff. Then you add your recipient. The recipient will have the room. What's the name of that room? Safe. Black Panther. Black Panther is the room. Then we can invite, and it's saying, you see what happened here? The room, this particular room, or is seen as a user, but the particular room is available from 4 to 4:30 and from 4:30 to 5 o'clock. So we can choose to pick at that time. But if you look at the current one, the one that is happening on Monday, that one is happening from 11 to 1 p.m. So we just go ahead and accept what we have already selected, and we add invitees. So my invitee also can be bt1@live.com. This is an external user, right? This is an external user that I'm sending to. Then let's invite Emma Wilson, and we'll write a little thing, and it's not supposed to be Teams meeting, it's going to be physical. Write a little, this is a project kickoff meeting. Please be present. Okay. You have more options here, but we are fine with what we have, and you can see the people we have invited, and we'll click send. Again, who was the moderator yesterday? Who was the moderator for that? Okay, so because this guy is the moderator, if we go to this my external email, BT's email, you see the email has not, the invite has not delivered here, or the calendar invite. So now, because moderator need to approve, right? Whether the email should be the meeting we hold or not. Yes, this is the moderator, I guess. Who was the moderator? Oh, sugar. Hold on. Let me try to remember who the moderator is, just to see. Resource mailbox. Okay, so Black Panther, and the moderator is admin. See, yes, the one we set it for. Delegate is who is this? Full access. Wait, where's our moderator? Okay. Who is the one we moderated now? Booking delegate setting, yes. Okay, it's Will. It's Will. So we have to go to Will's inbox. Okay. All right, there is it. So Will has received the email for the meeting, and he needs to approve it or reject it. Receive this message, and Will is going to accept it. Now, as Will accepted it, we can go now to, back to Titi. Now Titi now have, just like yesterday, and we go to BT. So we are waiting for the mail to get in here. Wait, am I in the, oh, this send item? Okay. We go into junk. Okay, it went into junk. I don't know why, but it went to junk. So I'm just going to not junk. It's not junk. Yes, trust this guy. And we move back to inbox. And this is the meeting invite, and I can accept. That's simply how to invite an external recipient. Okay, so we've just done that. Can I create slides? Yeah, we'll try. Can I create a folder on my mailbox for particular sender? Yes, you can, just like we did for that email. For particular sender, you can only create, yes. That means a sender, you are receiving a mail from that sender, yes. Just like we did for my own mailbox where I created the folder for Eno. You can do the same thing. And then the question says, I have a question regarding email flow and rules. Regarding the issue of Mayflow and rule. I have it. Okay. Some time ago, I experienced an issue where a disgruntled client was harassing the organization by sending numerous offensive emails to the organization using different email addresses. How will you recommend an issue as such to undo? All right, so now we can also use Mayflow is where it's dicey, right? Is the fact that the person is using different email, because when you block one, you are going to see another one from another email. So in that case, you need to identify a pattern. You need to identify a pattern other than the what's it called? Other than the sender. And sometime, let me see a message analyzer. Message analyzer. Short message analyzer. Yeah. So I'm just going to okay, this message analyzer, that's header analyzer. So another thing you can do is to see from some of those emails, open the mail. Let's go to Titi, for instance. I will just open standard email from this person, and I can go to this ellipsis here, and I will click view, right? And I click view message details. When I open view message detail, I have this information here. You copy it, you take it to header analyzer, you paste it here, and you tell it to analyze the header. So it's going to run. I think it's still rolling. So I'm hoping it will. Don't know, maybe it's internet now. It's supposed to run, but let me see. Another one is MX Toolbox. mxtoolbox.com. Right, this is rolling. If you finish on time, fine. If not. So MX Toolbox, I'm going to use analyze header. And I'm going to paste the header and I'll analyze. Okay. So this one too, as we finish. What's going on? Okay, I don't know what is wrong with this one. Now, from here, you can identify the various messages that you have from that particular recipient. You will see what you look out for is, most time what they do is they mask the original email, the original sender, they mask it and just give you whatever they want you to see as the sender is what they put. So here you might see the email coming from BT. Instead of BT1, maybe you might see it coming from standard BT or so at live.com, and it receive. So, but what you look out for is, where is it? Return, the return from. Okay. So from here to here, subject, and we are looking for the return. Let's say header for return address. Okay, here, return part. You look for this return part. You might see the actual sender, the actual email address the person is using to send. You might see it. But if not, if there's common property in the emails that are being sent, you can actually use property to block using using transport rule. Remember that when we are creating the rule, there was option to use header. You have if I say block message, apply this rule if it is do the following. I just say block message, right? Do the following, or apply the rule if the message if the message property or if the header contains. So in the header, these are properties from the header. All this, right, are properties from the header. You can use message ID and co. You can this message ID for this particular message, but every message have their own ID. So if you use message ID, it's only going to block that message, nothing more. So you can use, if you see that the email, the return part is similar for all of them, then you have caught the person. You can just go ahead and block. Or you can look for other constant header information there. That way you are able to block. So I hope that works for you. And you can also send such messages, right, to quarantine. So the other thing is you need to implement some additional security. You need to implement what we call your SPF record to be properly set. Like I said, if there's a third class batch or something, we might go 300 level. There is what they call SPF record, sender policy framework, that help you to tell the people that are receiving your email that this particular, I can tell people, SPF will tell people on the internet that this is the only server that can receive email on my behalf. Then you have DKIM and you have DMARC. Those are different security settings that you can put in place. DKIM and DMARC will help you to validate mail that are going out of your own organization. And when mails are coming into your organization, sometimes you will receive external email as if they originated from the inside. So you can use DKIM and DMARC to actually prevent that. I think we have tried today and we have been able to cover a lot. Please, what is the function of the connector? I want to believe you've been able to get it from all the talk that we have talked here today. But just briefly, the connector helps you to control emails or control messages in and out of your organization. So I have these connectors here. And the connector, this particular one, I'm saying Office 365 or Exchange Online should be able to send emails securely to a server, an Exchange server that is on my on-premise environment. Or I want to send a mail securely to my partner organization's email server. I don't want it to go directly to the internet. I want a tunnel, a secure tunnel to send email between the two of us, right? So connectors, just like you also have it here, help control the flow of email messages to and from your Office 365 organization, right? That's it. So just go and read more about it. I'm sure you'll be able to pick it, and you can also listen to this recording again. And that's all the questions we have here today. Rafiah, I'm going to drop the mic here. Thank you, everyone, for your time, for your patience. Thank you very much for attending the classes and paying attention. And we'll share the documents and the various files with you, as we said. Thank you. Yes. All right, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Ma. Really appreciate your time. Just like I used to say, one thing I like about your classes is the way you take your time to explain, right? Like explain. We all so much enjoy your classes and wish we could have you all through. I would say all through the session, right? Thank you so much, Ma. So I don't even know where to start from. I don't know if you answered this particular question that Tara asked as regards email flow and rules. Mail flow, where a user was sending emails to the organization. I don't know if you talked about that.
Yes, I did. That's where I
You already
went
did.
to message trace and
Okay.
header analyzer rather to
Okay.
analyze. Yes, I
Thank you
did.
so much, Matt. Then Joseph, I still see your hands up. Do you have a question? And Theodora, I don't know if you also have a question before we quickly, Patrick. So if you have a question, please drop your question in the chat box. And I think yesterday we shared Madam Titi's LinkedIn profile URL where you can also reach out to her with your questions. Okay, you're asking, what about the hands-on? So the hands-on, it's going to come in a file format, and that will be shared with you in the WhatsApp group. So someone is asking, can we have the slides to this class? Please,
Yes,
Mark, can we
yes,
have the
yes. No
slides?
problem. You have the
Okay.
slide. We'll send the slide that
Okay.
we used to you.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. So our mentees are so grateful. They appreciate your time. And just like Madam Titi has said, she'll be sharing the slides alongside the hands-on with us, hopefully this week, Monday, before the end of this week, hopefully. So thank you all so much for joining in. I do want to encourage you guys to keep showing up, show up for yourself, show up for your loved ones, right? Show up for the community as a whole, and do have a wonderful and blessed week ahead. Have a good night rest, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye.